Hello, how are you doing today? Jessica Newpower coming live to you here from St. Cloud, Minnesota, where we actually had a change in our weather. It is raining outside and I love the liquid sunshine. In all honesty, it's a great break from the beautiful days that we've had because no, I don't want to be outside and I can actually focus on getting some things done on the inside of the house as well as getting back to business. It's a great way, in my opinion, to start my Monday off. And I hope that you are starting your Monday off on a great and positive note as well. So today I want to come to you with a couple of tips if you are an overthinker. Now, I am 100% guilty of overthinking a lot of the time. In fact, so much so that, and I know it's going to be backwards, so don't bite my head off. So much so that my husband even bought me this sign, hold on, let me overthink this. But it's true. So many of us overthink. In fact, a survey that was done by, I believe it was the University of Michigan, came out with some statistics. Now, I apologize for the date. I believe it was done back in 2008 or 2003. I don't remember exactly. But back then, overthinking was considered a national epidemic amongst young and middle-aged adults. Get this stat, ready? 73% of 25 to 35-year-olds felt that they were guilty of overthinking, and 52% of 45 to 55-year-olds also are guilty of overthinking. Now, again, I know that it's a little bit dated, but it's so much of an issue that we actually did a study on it, and that was very impressive to me. But overthinking doesn't have to rule your life if you take some steps, and I've got a couple of simple ones here, 5 in fact, that I'm going to share with you today that are going to help you overcome overthinking. And so the first one is awareness that you are an overthinker is the beginning of change for you. So when you are aware and you know that you are an overthinker, this gives you the opportunity to make a change, to make a shift in how it is that you're thinking. Now, before you can begin to address or cope with your habit of overthinking, again, that awareness is critical and key. So anytime that you find yourself doubting or feeling stressed or anxious, you need to step back. Just take a look at the situation, take a look at the landscape, the lay of the land, if you will, and how it is that you're choosing to respond to everything that's happening. So it's in this moment of awareness that change can begin to take place. Second tip is to not think about what can go wrong, but think about what can go right. Now, for so many of us, it's so easy to think about the negative because that's our default. We, for some reason, are wired to naturally default to the negative. What can go wrong? And it does take a little bit of a muscle to build up. It's going to take some exercise. It's going to take some practice to get that muscle stronger. But instead of thinking and focusing on the negative, what you need to do is you need to shift that gear and focus on what can go right. What can positive outcomes be with whatever it is that you are looking to tackle? Number 3, and I like this one. This one is it's a fun one. Distract yourself into happiness. How the heck do you do that? So sometimes it's helpful to distract yourself. I can't talk. My apologies. It's helpful to distract your way into happy, positive, and healthy alternatives. And here's some ways that you can do it. Meditation's a great way. I personally have tried meditation. I don't jive with it. It's not my thing. But here's what my thing is. Dancing, singing. I distract myself into happy by choosing to do some happy exercises, some happy activities. And it doesn't take a long time. I mean, most songs are 3.5 minutes long. So just put on a good tune. I love Walking on Sunshine. That's a fantastic one. Or, there's a whole bunch of other songs. And if you want some of those songs, feel free to reach out. This is totally not a part of my talk, but I've got a great playlist whenever I'm looking to get myself boosted up and get into my happy zone. So if you need that, let me know. Is this helpful so far? I hope so. So number 4, you need to put things into perspective. Now, this one was a big challenger for me back in the beginning when I really started recognizing how much power my thoughts had. And when we have negative events that are happening in our life, it's so much easier to make it bigger than it really, really is. And so for me, a tip that I use, something that I do, is I actually write things down. I take time to write it down because when I quantify it on paper, that's when I'm able to recognize and realize that I am making it bigger in my head. And it helps to put it into perspective. And in all honesty, when you give yourself that opportunity to do that, it really helps to shut down that overthinking that our brains are allowed to do when we give it unlimited space. Unlimited space. I'm like, I can't get back far enough to spread it out. When you put it down on paper, you're quantifying it. And not only that, but you're limiting it. You're limiting it to this space right here on that piece of paper. So do that for yourself. And the fifth tip that I have to share with you today is stop waiting for perfection. So many of us are so guilty so much of the time of waiting for the right time to get started, for waiting for the stars to align up, for everything to be perfect, for the house to be clean, for the kids to be all perfect and well-mannered and behaved and not just, causing a ruckus or chaos all over. You wait for your schedule to clear out. Wait for the school year to end to dive into things over the summertime. Stop waiting. Start doing. The more time that you give, whatever it is that you need to do to overcome, to accomplish, to get off of your to-do list, the more time that it sits out there not being done, the more harmful it is for you. And so let's recap those 5. Number 1, awareness is the beginning of change. Number 2, don't think of what can go wrong, but start thinking about what can go right. Number 3, distract yourself into happiness. Number 4, put things into perspective. And number 5, stop waiting for perfection. So if you liked these tips and feel like you can actually put these into some practice, I actually have 5 more tips that I would love to share with you. And number 7 right here, that one's a doozy. That one was a game changer for me. I also have a little affirmation I like to say to help me get over my overthinking. And so if you want these 5 tips, I'll give you not just the 5 tips that I shared with you today, but the additional 5 tips and my daily affirmation when I start overthinking. All you need to do is just drop me a comment below or send me a private message and I'll get those out to you. Otherwise, happy Monday. Thanks for tuning in. I hope you found this valuable and I'll see you tomorrow.